Hi, everybody, and welcome. I think, Houston, we have a problem here. I don't know why. It seems like on Facebook it's not streaming. Um, but anyway, we are going live on Facebook. It's always exciting, and we are in Mercury retrograde, so we had a
It is. It
hiccups
is.
last week, didn't we? I don't think we are actually on Facebook. I'm so sorry, but everybody, you can go to YouTube and find us on YouTube. So I'm going to put the link here, and I have to put it on Facebook, and we are just in a very short moment going to start talk to you. Um, we failed streaming on Facebook, but you are welcome to join us live on YouTube at and the link. Okay. So sorry for that. But I put something up here now. I posted something on the page. And we are still, as I said, up on YouTube and going. So anyway, here we are. Let's start off the show. And today we actually are celebrating as well. So we have actually it's going to be tomorrow, 27th of March. We're going to celebrate 1 year together, but we do celebrate it today, right? That is amazing, isn't it, Corinne? I'm so
Okay.
happy.
Yes. Yes.
And now I can start off here and say welcome everybody. And today we have March 26 in US and Europe and Thursday, March 27 in Australia. You are watching the Cosmic Sis-Stars Show with hosts Anne and Corinne on Cosmic Guardians. Today we are actually being here with you, at least on YouTube, talking about what we should have been talking about last week, and we had a little bit of a hiccups. So we are in Mercury retrograde, and that's going to last until April 7th, I think. So we just go with the flow and we try to do our best. We had another show last week. So we streamed a pre-recorded video for you, and we talked about understanding the neediness, and that is something that comes from our hearts as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was last Wednesday. So, going to say here more. You can connect with us, find upcoming shows, past episodes, read articles, find Kareen and find me and more at angelplaceonearth.com/cosmic guardians. And you find episodes at angelplaceonearth.com/upcoming dash past. And I know that Facebook are starting to remove videos that are older than 30 days, but you can always find past episodes on YouTube, angelplaceonearth.com, and there's a playlist with Cosmic Guardians shows. And also at angelplaceonearth.com/upcoming dash past. Always, it's there, everything. And let's dive into today's show. So I'm so
Absolutely.
excited. Welcome, my beautiful co host,
Thank you. Thank
my,
you.
my very precious Corinne Mooney, all the way from Arizona, right?
Actually, I'm just going to do one show. I'm just going to come on and see if it works, and then we'll decide whether we want to do it again. Okay? Aren't those the words that I said to you almost a year ago? You know.
I think that's exactly what you said, but I had this sense that I'm
Uh,
going to, don't ever push people, right? But I had this feeling that, oh, I want to grab Corinne. How can I do that?
and then as soon as I got those words out of my mouth, I said, this isn't too bad. I could probably come on a couple of times a month. And you said then, how about if I just come on every week? And
Exactly.
I'm going, okay,
Why not?
why not? And
So
here we are.
here we are. It's wonderful, actually. And a year ago, we embarked on a transformative journey because it is talking about these things also lets us live it,
Oh,
walk
very much so.
the talk, so to speak, which is wonderful. And I think that we have been doing well in creating a space where we can share stories, healing, um, spirituality, and everything that is important in life and on this path. And like trying not to make things too fluffy, but merging spirituality because it is, in essence, a lifestyle, isn't it?
Yes. Yes. And I think I know as I was becoming aware that there was more to me than just housework and kids, that I had questions, but I had nowhere to seek answers, or not necessarily answers. I wasn't looking for answers. I was looking for uh, growth, for something to allow me to emerge into who I was becoming, and I'm hoping that just by the myriad of discussions that we have, and it is vast. We definitely touch upon about just about everything, and it gives people an opportunity to go, well, never thought of it that way before. Uh, oh, other people are thinking this way. Oh, I'm not really as strange as I thought I was. This is wonderful.
It is beautiful, actually, and it's a miracle and an honor to be able to do this and talk about these things. And
Yes.
as we have encountered together as well, everything is, it's like a chain. You talk about something and then you add something else, and that's going to have some kind of connection. Everything is connected.
Uh, Actually, when I've heard other people that are doing like series of classes, and everything kind of then goes into the next one, I know that they have a staff of people that sit there and go, okay, well, we're going to talk about this, then we're going to kind of make it merge into that. And we come out here just, naked as babes, and the universe kind of puts it together for us. And I really think that the universe does a far better job than we could have if we had kind to make this work. And that I love it. I love it. I'm learning things. I'm experiencing things, and I definitely every week have an opportunity to walk the walk. Uh, Thank
No,
you,
no
universe.
kidding. Yes, no, not kidding. It's actually the same for me. And it is fascinating when you have trust and faith in the process by itself and in the universe and life and everything that comes around when you follow what comes from here.
Yes.
Because, yeah, we are only two people and we try to do it. And I think we do it good for being only two people, right?
Yep.
Um, so it is the universe actually, because I don't think too much about the topics. We decided a few. I think we had many, many topics that we had
Yes.
figured we want to talk about. But just grabbing what feels in alignment at that very moment, and the universe does the rest. Isn't that beautiful?
Yes, and it's amazing because there again, life comes in, and a circumstance will happen, and it will give a chance to have a new subject, like when my son-in-law got sick, and out of that came the opportunity to, how do you actually speak to somebody with encouragement, and not just dull sympathy, but empathy. So we got three programs out of that: sympathy versus empathy. We got the words that you say to people when they're having something traumatic going on in their life. So this is what I say: when you start allowing yourself to trust the process, it's given to you. That there's no, you don't have to force it.
No, there's never, we don't need to struggle for things
Uh,
when we take that step back, when we do our best to remain calm, peaceful, and just observe, right? When we don't
uh,
know, it's the best way to observe. And then you're going to know, and then you can take steps after that, right? Because it's going to be perfect, always perfect. As you said in one show, perfectly imperfect.
Absolutely, absolutely. And when you embrace that, uh, it's amazing how many more opportunities are given to you. And when I wrote that, it seemed original to me. And now, many, many, many years later, I'm hearing that expression from so many learned people, the Dalai Lama, and I hear it in other people having this conversation, and I'm going, uh, but this is really true. It's when we assume, there's that word,
Yeah.
that it's not good enough, that we want to keep tweaking it, we lose the mystery of it, and we lose the opportunity for it to become what it came to become.
Yes, exactly. And I'm just posting a little bit here, and I think that it's the future for us. It's really bright. We are tenacious enough to just continue forward, right?
That's right.
So we have a lot of things that we are planning to do and that we love to do. Um, like, for instance, we're planning to talk about the Celestine prophecy.
Oh,
That
yes.
will be once a month because it's kind of 12 insights, right?
Yep.
Plus probably a summary at the end, and we will have to do fast talking, have a summary of 12 insights, right? But that's going to be amazing, and so many other things. And also how to cope with life because we are living in a little bit of strange times. But I'm really curious about you. How did you slide into this arena in the first place, the spiritual arena?
People ask me that, and it I have to pause, because it wasn't like I woke up one day and said, "Okay, I need to do something." I think I've always lived it. I wasn't aware of it. And then, basically, very simply, when I got into massage school, and then I got into working with energies, and then I got into becoming a Reiki master teacher, I noticed things about myself that I didn't see with other students. Like when I would touch someone, I would feel the vibration, I would feel things. And it was about that time in 1990, 89, when I started getting what I call now downloads. And I would be in a grocery store or something, and I would just stop and pause for a minute and close my eyes, and I wasn't hearing anything or doing anything, but I would pause there for a significant amount of time. Now, a normal person would go, "Oh, I've got a brain tumor. I better go have that checked out." And I just thought, well, that was interesting. And then what started happening was I would automatically pick up a pen and write, and pages and pages and pages of writing. Dear child, we appreciate what you're doing. I mean, so it started coming in the form of automatic writing. And then when I got into the actual physical of doing energy work, it evolved. So I think my willingness to just say, like I did with you,
Yeah.
yes, this will be interesting, and allow it to evolve. And I think that's what's happened. And now at this part of my life, um, where I'm no longer doing the physical medical massage, and I am energy now. and the ability to do soul communications, where I've done this for many, 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 many years without knowing what I was doing. And I am literally speaking, communicating with your soul, and then I am giving you, I am just basically, your soul is saying, tell her this, and and this is why it comes. And it's just, it's an evolution. And we talked about evolution before.
Yeah, we did.
And we're going to be talking about, the divinity of humanness, and allowing yourself to just be connected to who you really are. Uh, I think it it's like working with a hate to say this, a lump of clay. And as you're doing it, it starts taking on this dimension and that perception, and this aspect. And I think just being willing to go along, and well, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah,
So,
it is. And I'm making a short version out of my way. Yeah, I've always been. I grew up in a family with a grandmother who were doing cartomancy. Um, she sensed things also. My mom were into these kinds of things too. So it was nothing weird in my family on my mother's side. And when life throws things at you, you start to question. And the first time I started consciously to question things, I was 20 years of age because my boyfriend, we were together for 2.5 years and we were moving in together, just getting a bigger apartment, and he died.
oh,
So I started to question things heavily. And I searched for many, many years, but I didn't do it very, very consciously until the year 2000. And what did I do by then? Yeah, well, I decided to, if I would divorce or not, right? So
yeah.
another kind of big thing in life, because it sometimes you can say that it's we could think of things earlier, but usually as human beings, we are a little bit convenient. So when life is flowing nicely, we don't put in too much effort. Which
No.
we put, no, we put in the effort when things are standing out or getting crazy, or we have sadness or some kind of challenge, right?
Correct.
And but I actually, the year 2000, sorry, I started with a Celestine prophecy, so that would be a smashing thing for me to
Oh,
do
yes.
together with you. The insights and energy and everything of that matter. And here we go. It's 25 years later, and um, one thing leads to another. And in the beginning, I think after a year and a half, I think I know it. I got it. I know it. I got it. I didn't know. I just scratched the surface, but my senses was that I
Yeah.
grasped this
Oh,
now.
we've
I,
arrived.
yes, but actually it's a journey. There's no destination, to be honest.
No.
Um, no. And as souls, we are already perfect. And I work with souls too, soul readings and clearings and things of that nature, because I think it's very, very important. As sensitive beings, we are very often attached to, or being having attachments placed on us without any mean intent most of the time. But it's because of the way we live and what we have been taught, right? How we are
Correct.
living it. So the huge part of this journey for me to find myself and my original version, my true self, is to peel off all those layers that doesn't belong to me, really. And the more we peel off, the easier, to be honest, it becomes.
You
Do
know,
you agree?
I absolutely, and it's the journey. it is very definitely the journey, and that's each moment in the journey is life. It's
Yes,
not, well, when I get this done I'll do this, or when I get this done I'll do this. It's being able to say yes to the now.
yes, exactly.
And,
Because we
and
don't have anything else. We
ex-
have this moment.
exactly,
we
exactly.
can keep we can keep inviting the past, but that's not going to bring us any good usually. We should hold on to good memories, but the rest we can leave behind, right?
Yes,
And the teachings and learnings. And because we are here and now, we don't really know what's going to come. It's very difficult to actually predict. And sometimes you can sense things. If I keep on doing this, that's going to come out of that. But basically, we are here and now, and nothing is written in stone for the future,
yes. And
right?
it's interesting because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. and and when we keep dragging up the past only got us here. And apparently, if we want to change what's here, then the past wasn't really all that great to us. It just motivated us to get to this point. So to keep going back and pulling it out, when I'm working with people, sometimes I'll refer to, you wouldn't throw away your garbage and then daily go out and go through the garbage and bring it back in the
No,
house.
no
And
one would.
that's what we're doing when we keep saying, well, in the past he did this or she did that or this happened. And that's how I felt. Well, that was then. Throw it away. Throw it away. You
Yeah.
know?
You know what? And that brings us into today's topic, right? Are you
You're,
ready for that?
oh, you
So,
coincidence or perfect planning?
yes. So,
Divine timing.
yes, divine timing and the universe prevented us from talking about this last week, did
Yes,
universe, right?
yes,
So today, actually, our topic is embracing freedom, the power of surrender and release.
yes.
And I think that is kind of where you went just a minute ago, right?
Just just went right off, following that train of thought. Or
Yeah,
was I not following the train of thought, or was the train of thought kind of guiding me?
it was
Ah,
probably guiding you, right?
okay. Okay. Yes. And surrender and release are similar, but they also have different connotations. And when we are dealing with a lot of situations, dealing with our past belief, dealing with our past, dealing with uh, something that is coming in the future, when we are coming at it forcibly and keep bumping into it, we're not making any progress. But I think when you can surrender and allow things to happen, it's not really the word surrender meaning giving up. It's letting go. And that's why I like when we let go, you've got to do something with the stuff that's left over. And
Mhm.
that's when you release it.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I'm going to grab a little bit about what you talked about um, just a couple of minutes ago. Because when we keep inviting and we keep holding on to things, we are placing ourselves like victims in a victim position, right?
Correct.
Because I've been going through all of these things, and I can't do better than I currently do, right? But
Yes.
that's not correct, to be honest. It's not.
No. And I think that the shift in consciousness comes from a place that requires you to make a decision.
Yeah.
It brings you to that point. I remember in my life when I would run into crises. I've had a few every now and then, more than now and then, and I found that in the Chinese lettering, the word for crisis is a little stick figure going this way and another little stick figure going this way. So they're back to back and they're going away from each other. And all crisis is a focal point of saying, now you have the opportunity to make a decision. You're not going to keep going over and over and rolling in a ball. You're going to go either this way or this way. And when you pause and you surrender to the idea that you're at that point where you're going to have to make some kind of a go forward, go left or right, it allows you to see things in a different perception, a different perspective, excuse me.
Exactly.
Yes.
And there are always different ways of seeing things, right? So
Uh-huh.
many different ways of seeing things. Sorry, I got caught up here in posting. Um, because this world also teaches us to have control, to achieve things, right? If we don't achieve things, we are failing. And
Yes.
who wants to fail? And always, striving for something that is visible in this world, our progress and our worth, right?
Mhm.
But it's not um, it's not those things that really does count, because if you have everything and you're showing off a good surface, it's like those windows, big windows at the stores, right? So you place things and you show off. You have a good car, the most expensive one. You have the most expensive house. You have so many things, right?
Uh-huh.
But many times you are miserable, and that is something that people very often don't want to acknowledge to themselves, right? Because why am I miserable? I'm supposed to have it all, right? What the world is telling. And one other thing, the control part, it can be very challenging to start questioning, why do I need control over things that I in reality don't have control over, right? I don't.
I'm sorry. Uh,
That's okay.
we think we're in control.
Yeah,
That's the illusion, and
yes.
and we feel that that is necessary because that's what we've been taught to do, and that's the furthest thing from the truth, because uh, we live under that assumption, and as you say, we live under the assumption that in order for us to look good, we have to have this body shape, we have to have that kind of hairstyle, we have to drive this car, and it distracts us from taking care of what is the most beautiful thing that we have, is who we are inside. And when we finally release all of the need to perform according to others ideas, and just release all of that, it's amazing how free we become.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we, as long as we are trying to obey to demands, assumptions, there we have the word assumptions, expectations, you have to become something. Well, how about becoming your best version, right?
Oh, but that's work.
That's that's a lot of work, but how can I release that sense of I want to be in full control of everything? How can I release that part? How can I surrender?
Well, first of all, you're not broken and you haven't failed. You are perfectly imperfect. And when we give ourselves the opportunity to realize that and realize that we're never going to be someone else, and who would want to be? I mean, you can admire something someone has done. I remember I did this talk to a group of girls at I think sophomores in high school, where everybody was all wearing the same, but they looked the same. And I went in and I had with me, I had a little fern tree and I had a cacti because I'm from Arizona. And I said, you're never going to find a fern that tries to be a cactus, and you're never going to have a cactus that tries to be a fern. They become the best cacti they can be, and they become the best fern they can be. So look inside, take the time to find out what your passions are, what your interests are, and become the best version of yourself. Instead of saying, well, that's the fashion, so I have to look like that. That's what everybody's doing. I have to wear those shoes. I have to do this to fit in. It's a lot more fun to fit out.
Exactly, because that is embracing your own personal freedom, isn't it?
Exactly.
Mm.
Oh, here's that
And
freedom word again. Oh, my goodness.
and something else. And I say this when I talk to people sometimes because of, making some funny comments in the middle of things to take the tension out of stuff. It's very common in relationship. We want to belong, right? Um, to someone. We feel we are in need of someone, right? So
Correct.
that is not giving us freedom. And neither is that we think we need to adapt all the time. But on the other hand, who would like to marry their twin? No
Oh,
one, no one, because we are all unique, we are all different, and we need to dare to have the courage to be ourselves, right?
yes. I guarantee you I'd drive myself crazy if I had to live with me. So so the beauty is, as we have mentioned before, finding tools to get to your authentic self. And
Yes,
the first thing that we have to do is find a way to really love what we are, to
yes,
love our true self, and to start being kind to ourselves instead of saying, oh, well, I need to be thinner, I need to be taller, I need to be, you know, both those things I wouldn't mind being. But this is the package that I came in right now, so I'm going to love it and care for it. Allowing yourself to know yourself and find a way to love who you are, you find you do not have to have someone else to feel like you belong, because you
exactly.
belong to something greater. You don't have to have a person in your life to be complete, because you are complete. That person is just walking beside you, making
Yes,
another dimension available.
yeah, yes. So actually, one could say also that when we surrender to this, we acknowledge that there are forces within our own control, but also
Mhm.
beyond our control, and that is okay.
That's
You
perfect.
know, we don't need to fix everything. We just need to find ourselves, right? And
Exactly.
trust. trust ourselves that we can, because each and every one of us, I rarely promise things, but I promise this one, you can, I can, we can, you can,
Exactly.
everybody can. That we are not victims of anything, because those things that are out of our hands and our control, that are um, created by the mass, or you name it, right?
Yes.
We still have our response. How am I going to respond to that? Am I going to assume that I'm a failure and I feel victimized because of it? No, right?
Yes, and the beauty of surrender is letting go of what does not serve us at this time. Uh, if I'm trying to build something and I'm using a saw to hammer a nail in, it's not going to work. So if
No,
I surrender the fact that the saw is not going to be the tool I need, and have the awareness that I could need to find something else to do that, and then release the need to say that saw is going to work, and force the saw to try and do it. So it's there again, that being aware of the need to allow change in your life. But
mm,
when you release it, I have found that when you bless it, it was a lesson that got you where you wanted to go. And if you bless it, instead of going, "Oh, that was really hard, I'm never going to do that again," but say, "Thank you. You got me where I'm going to go, and now I can let it go, and I don't
yeah,
have to go back and find it again to learn it again."
exactly. And you know what? I stated in this kind of manner because we we can't adapt ourselves to everything to fit in, right? To surrender means also to take that step back, maybe being the observer of things until you connect here and you know what steps to take. That doesn't mean failure. It
Never.
means that you are taking action. Plus, when we are in a state of resistance to something, and believe me, I've been there. I'm the stubborn one. I've been there multiple times until I learned, because when we embrace the situation, no matter how it looks like, and we accept it, maybe is a better word, because sometimes it doesn't mean that I like being there, but this is how it looks right now, this very, very moment.
Yes.
So just, I accept how it is. It's not my best option, but I accept it. And therefore, I stop resisting it. When I stop resisting it, that's when I leave the energies to work for me instead of against me. Holding on and resisting means that I'm going to stay in that loop for as long as I'm going to be stubborn.
Uh-huh. Yes, and tenacity and stubbornness will work once you have come to a workable situation, and
Yeah,
then use it with your healing or with getting something done. But when you're using that against the object or of how am I going to say this? When you're trying to make a decision and you're just going against it, it closes your eyes to the possibilities of other options. And when you
exactly.
surrender that, okay, I'm going to take a pause, all of a sudden it's like the lights come on and you're given a whole lot of different ways of seeing something. Then use your stubbornness to get through that you've decided to do.
Yeah, exactly. And resistance means that you hold on to the energies. You don't leave them to move
Correct.
you forward or anything. You're going to feel stuck.
Yes.
And that's not really a pleasant place to be, is it?
No. And you can't go forwards and you can't go backwards. It's like if you've got your tire stuck in mud and you just keep grinding it, grinding it, grinding it. There comes a time when you have to surrender to the fact that that vehicle is not going to move unless you do something else, change. Okay.
Yes.
So you surrender to the fact that you're going to have to change. You get out, you look at it, and then you release the fact that just running the car isn't going to work. So you've let go of all of that resistance, and now you go, oh, well, goodness, there's a board over there. I can put that under the tire. That's going to help give me traction. So the process is to get to that point where you pause. I like to think of surrender as a pause. You know,
Yeah.
it because you're going like this and nothing's happening, and finally you just get tired and you go, "Ah," and then just allow it to work into another direction. But
It brings a wonderful freedom, and I experienced that too, of course. That's how I learned, right? But
correct.
when you come to that place and you say, "Oh, I can't take this anymore. I just let it be, whatever it's going to be," right? Because I'm not going to try anymore, right? I stop.
Yep.
Um, and then things actually start to happen.
Yep. And sometimes it takes grabbing your blankie and taking a nap. And that's okay. But it takes you away from uh the knockings of heads.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
and we all agree that there are times in life where if you're in a life threatening situation, it's going to be a whole lot different than dealing with your day-to-day stuff. But really, in reality, every time we make a decision, it's changing our life.
Yeah, it is.
So allowing ourselves the time to do this. Yes.
Yeah. I'm raising my hand, right?
Yes, I
We,
see
we,
that.
we, we always have this. Me too,
Me
my
too.
turn.
Go, please hurry.
Yeah, you can also, because many feel uncomfortable when we come, before we come to that place when we say, "Oh, just let it go, just be what it's going to be," right?
Right.
Because we have tried so hard. And it's maybe a fear of releasing that control, because when we state that, we are also stating that, well, I take back my control now. Whatever is going to be, going to be. And that leaves us, I always call it as a T cross, right?
Time out.
So, yeah, no, T crossing, T cross. So, like a T,
Yes,
because
yes.
you can't move forward in the same manner you have been for a very long time. That
Left, right.
means, yes, left or right. And that also means that maybe you are not going to get that thing that you thought you wanted so badly, right? Or you're going to get it. Two options, 50-50.
Correct.
And
But
that can be challenging to sometimes face, but it's, if you think of it in a different way, that is better, because you're going to have, either it's going to stop or it's going to progress, but it's not going to keep you in the loop of resistance.
exactly. And that loop of resistance can wear you down faster than anything else in the world.
Yes.
Because you're not making any forward progress. Um,
No.
and there again, it's like spinning your tire. And you can sit there. Well, you can wait until it turns to be summertime, and then it'll dry out, and then you can take off. But by then, you're going to be out of gas. You're going to be exhausted, hungry, tired, have to go to the bathroom. I mean, there's all kinds of other things that we can throw into the scenario. Um,
Yeah.
but the beauty is listening. And when you start evolving into this divine person that we really are, and using the tools that we have to speak nicely to ourselves and to not assume that we can't do something, or listen to the stories of everyone saying, well, you're not worthy, you're not good enough, you don't fit in. Freedom. This is what freedom is.
Yeah.
Freedom isn't the right to go out and be rude to people. It isn't. Freedom is not getting on the internet and being mean to people. Freedom is being aware of your own divinity, your own truth, and being able to honor that.
Yes, exactly. And there are so many benefits of surrender and release, right?
Correct.
One of them is freedom and emotional freedom, letting go of negative emotions and grudges that are holding us back. That allows us to experience a greater sense of emotional freedom and peace, because why keep on to grudges? So
Oh,
you, if I would say something about you, we are just making an example here, right?
yes.
10 years ago, you humiliated me. So I'm going to keep that grudge and being
Bring it
angry
up,
at
bring
you,
it up,
right?
bring it up. Yep.
Who, who, who is going to suffer? Are you going to suffer? Or I'm going to suffer.
Nope.
I am going to suffer.
Yes. And that's when people say, well, so and so did this to me, and I'm going to carry this grudge, as you said, forever. You're the one that gets the ulcer. They're off having a good time. All the
Yes,
worry that you have in the world is going to make the other person worry. All the hate that you feel is going to make the other person feel that hate. All it's going to do is destroy your body. And uh, believe it, that person isn't worth me going through all of this discomfort. Uh, so have a good life.
exactly. And there are other powerful things here. For instance, relationships. If
Yeah,
we surrender and release, and we don't hold on to expectations and demands, we can foster healthier and more authentic relationships. Because instead of, and I think we touched this when we talked about how we express ourselves to someone who has challenges, because I could say that I know what you need, right? Instead of asking you, Corinne, what do you need?
that's
But
true.
I'm coming from my assumption and expectation and maybe experience. Doesn't make me wrong, but the fault, if you could say fault here, is that I'm expecting and assuming that Corinne needs what I think she needs,
Yeah,
right?
correct. Correct. And all that when we do those things to us, that causes us to really become stressed out. You know,
Yes, exactly. You know, and it's also connected to personal growth. Of course it is, because when I try to see someone else for who they are and what their needs may be instead of my own, that's personal growth, isn't it?
absolutely. And without that, without the personal growth, the personal awareness, uh, you still are this very isolated being. You're not really communicating with anyone because you're wanting everybody to be your cactus. And I mean, I may be a beautiful cactus, but to other people, I may be prickly. So the beauty is allowing yourself to know yourself enough to realize that there are so many other people out there that you can also engage in.
Yes, exactly. And there are also some wonderful practical steps. I'm just going to mention them briefly, and then we can talk about them. So, practical steps to embrace, surrender, and release can be self reflection,
Uh-huh.
embracing change, seeking support, and many other things, of course, right? But I think that embracing change, that is a juicy one, right? I love that one
Oh
because
yeah.
we all state that I want this situation to change. But when the change approaches, we step into fear because we don't recognize things, right? But the
Correct.
thing is, for things to be able to change, if we think of it as energy, the energy has to be stirred around and change. There's no other way, right? If we are
Correct.
going to have keep it still in a bubble, nothing is going to change, and we want to change. But we need to embrace the change and not fear losing control.
Yes. And it's interesting. We accept change in everything but ourselves.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
expect we expect a baby to change. We expect as you grow older, you change. You expect the seasons to change. You expect the football players and the games to change. You hopefully expect politics to change. Uh, so we accept that change, but when it comes to doing our own homework and making change, or our relationship especially, because that's
Yeah, exactly.
involving someone else's opinions of us.
Yeah,
And that is scary.
it is scary and a very common theme. And I'm talking about if I'm going through a change, I'm changing, I'm transforming, I become um, a different version of myself that I may think is a better version of myself. Feels more authentic to me, right?
Yes.
People around, because now they say, okay, what happened to you? I don't recognize you. uh, why are you so odd or why are you so weird? What are you doing? Because we change our response. It doesn't mean
Yes.
that we do it with a bad attitude or anything, but people can sense this. And in a relationship, marriage, I mean, committed relationship where you have been partners or husband and wife or whatever for a long time, for years, that change can trigger a lot of things within the relationship, but it doesn't mean that we need to fear it, right?
And I think that fear also comes from, well, it comes from a lot of deep stuff within ourselves. Well, I'm not good enough and so on and so forth. But it also comes from changing the status quo
Yeah.
and how you view yourself in that relationship. Uh, and I'll give you a for instance, in a relationship where you have someone that is addicted to something, drugs, alcohol, whatever, they have a certain behavior pattern. And the people that live with them have certain roles that they play. They have maybe a person that's the enabler that keeps saying, well, he's not really as bad as you think he is. Yes, he's going to this, and so on and so forth. And then you have the people that try to make the relationship look normal, a child that's just perfect in everything. So the family looks like it's perfect. And then someone comes in, let's say the person that has the addiction, and they want to change. Well, everybody's role is going to change around them, and they don't know how to identify themselves. Or a person that really has been chronically ill with a traumatic illness, then they get over it. Well, they no longer receive the same kind of care. They no longer receive, uh, their friends change and everything else. So they want to go back to being sick again because that's how they identify themselves. So this is why when you change, it requires finding your authentic self. Otherwise, you're going to keep dealing with those fears.
Exactly. That was beautifully said. Thank you. Um,
A lot of words.
a lot of work. So some signs then that you have embraced surrender and released. And we are just making examples here. There are probably a gazillion more ways, right? That
Right.
one can think of. How can you know if you successfully embraced surrender and release? Inner peace is one of them. So you feel a sense of calm and contentment, even in the face of uncertainty. So it's hard to rock you from the boat, if I can say that, right?
That's right.
It's hard to push you so you fall down because you listen to yourself and you found a big part of yourself and you listen and you trust and you have self-confidence and belief in yourself and self-love, right? Flexibility is another. You can adapt to changes and challenges with ease, but not adapting in the old-fashioned way, like I put myself like a doormat to be able to cope with the situation. No, but you can adapt to changes in a way that you accept them because you really wanted them.
Hmm.
Very often we ask for them, we pray for them, we want them, we affirm, we do many things. But when the change comes, we step into that fear, right?
Oh, yeah.
But it's beautiful when you realize that I can take this. I see that I actually did co-create this somehow, and I want the change, so I'm going to have faith and belief in myself and in everything else, and things are going to turn out right. And something else is authenticity. You feel more aligned with your true self and your values. You are finding yourself at the very core. And that is important because that thing you can never ever find that outside in someone else. That's not happening.
It's not
It
ever going
comes
to
from
happen.
within you.
Yep. And then uh, what happens when you get all these things and put them together? What is the
Yeah,
result?
yeah, well, you embrace freedom and you are powerful within yourself.
And then we have that. What is that word you wrote down here? Joy. Joy in the present moment. I
Yes,
love
joy
that.
in the present moment.
Yep. Yep.
And you know,
And
joy in the present moment is when you find joy and fulfillment each and every moment you have. Because right now we have a present moment. It's not a minute in the future or nor in the past, right?
right now,
Without being weighed down by past regrets or future worries, right? Just here.
just here.
Enjoy this very moment.
Yep. And people miss out on so much pure joy because they're always looking for something that's going to give them joy instead of realizing that, oh, look, it's a starfish. I've never seen a starfish before. Isn't that unique? Isn't that beautiful? And appreciate that starfish because it's going to maybe go into the sand or go into the water and you're not going to see that starfish again. But allowing yourself, again, I love going back to the simplicity and the beauty and the purity of children. When they see something, their whole being is devoted to that moment. They are concentrating on all their energies into that moment. What
Yes,
kind of wonderful life could we have when each of our moments become that filled with joy?
exactly. Exactly. And actually, we have Miss Nidia here.
Oh,
So
hi, Lydia. Yeah.
she says, congrats. I put the wrong thing up.
Yeah.
congrats. And I said, thank you, Nidia. Lots of love to you. Only to you, right?
Yes.
Straight to you.
Yeah.
We cannot really, we can plan and we can schedule things and we can have uh, an administration for ourselves in our personal lives that we are trying to take care of what's going to come in the future. But many times that's going to fall apart, right? So how to cope with that then? Yeah, well, cope with it in a way that we cannot really be sure because we are interacting also. It's a global thing, it's a country thing, it's a personal thing, it's environment, family, it's not everything in our hands, right? Things
Correct.
can become a little bit crazy if you say it that way, but it's how we cope with it. How are you coping? And are you trying to cope so much that you are not being present right here and now? And
Yes.
are you being triggered by past events and things you've been experiencing, right?
Yes. And moving beyond just coping, being able to uh, let yourself see things from another perspective, and not just getting through to get onto the other side, but surrendering and releasing that need to be in control, and then just going with the flow. Oh, did I say that? Yes, I did.
You did. And there are times in our lives when we feel because we count time in timelines, seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, etc., right?
Yep.
So many times we are also impatient. So I want this an hour ago. I don't have the patience to wait because even if we can manifest and do everything and we are so powerful, there are things that take a little bit of time. But when we are starting to worry about that, there we are again, capturing the energy in that bubble. So we
Mhm.
are caught in the bubble and the loop,
Yep.
right?
Yes. And there's no there. Forgive me. There's no joy in that.
No,
And I realize that there is there has been nothing written in the good books anywhere in time and space that says it says that we may have hard times, but there's nothing that specifically says go out and be miserable, go out and hit yourself over the head, go out and do not enjoy life. uh, so why not embrace the fact that we came here to experience all of this interesting things, and we put a lot of little things in to make it more interesting. I'll have to check on that because I need to redo my what I think is going to give me something to get around. re 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 uh, Renegotiate my contract, I think. However, if that is it, why not find a way to move around that with as much joy, with as much giggling, with as much happiness and everything that we can muster? Because if we allow ourselves to at least feel the spark of joy in the worst of times, it's like putting a salve on. It makes it
yeah,
just a little bit easier. That doesn't mean that you have to be happy and joy and giddy about it, but you just realize this too will pass, and that seems so
yeah.
dumb to say, but it really is true.
It is true. And you know what? Um, my generation and probably the generation before mine and after, at least here in my experience in Sweden, right? Um, there's a lot of victimhood thinking that I need to, because I've been going through this, I am not going to be able to accomplish things, or I'm never going to succeed, or I'm not going to progress, right? But that's not true. And I think what I always say, we came with all our senses and emotions and feelings and everything, right? So maybe we need to express ourselves, right? Maybe we need to get it out of our system in one way or another. But that doesn't mean that we are sitting years talking about the same thing, because that's not going to bring us forward. So
No.
we need also to find closure. And we can decide that when I've finished talking. I had it. Now I'm going to progress because I know I can, and everybody can. But that is a little bit sad sometimes when people feel that maybe 10, 20 years they are caught in a situation where they feel I'm powerless. I can't do anything about it, but we can.
Yes, the expression that I hear people say, well, this is the way I am and I can't change it. And I'm going, oh, what a miserable place to be. You know, because we can always change it, maybe in just little tiny increments. But each little thing that you change is going to allow another change. It's going to allow
Yes.
another change. And just be willing to at least explore the opportunity that you may be able to make a change is going to is it's forward motion. Life is movement. Energy is movement. Nothing is stagnant. And when we realize that, uh, there's only possibilities.
Yeah. Endless possibilities.
I mean, you may stub your finger and your toe, and that will be one of the possibilities. But at least it's another possibility of not moving, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. For instance, when I when I said darn this past summer when I broke my leg,
Yes.
that's not a too bad word, right?
Yes. Oh, that's a great word. Yeah. But
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 it's yeah, I could have chosen, because that's a choice too. I could have. It sounds very easy, I know. I don't mean to put myself above anyone else, because I'm not, right? But it's challenges we are experiencing. Okay, here I am. This happened. It is what it is. What am I going to do? Am I going to cry myself every day, 24/7, because that happened? No, I'm going to choose to do what I can with what I have, what I
yes.
currently have, and then I move forward. Because, as you said, energy is never stagnant,
Yeah.
constantly moves, right?
Yeah, we did this show a couple of weeks ago on when you get to a situation like that, a crisis, how it's so much easier to go back to something that's familiar, even if that familiar is what got you to the crisis in the beginning. We're not able to see the difference that that situation got us here, so we go back to an old behavior, we go back to an old partner, we go back to an old a way of thinking, because it is not as
Familiar.
scary as having a new thought, you know.
Exactly. Because, we feel safe. It's the same thing basically. When we know what we have, but we don't know what we are going to get, but we want the change. We still want the
Yes.
change, but
Yes.
we are scared of the change itself, right? And why not create a new familiar?
And
How about
see,
that?
that's beautiful. And then don't get too familiar with your familiar, you know. Realize that it's familiar in this setting. uh, I just had this inspiration. I love to garden, and when you plop a seed in the ground, you're looking at something that isn't going to look like it is when it's grown. and you put it in and you have the anticipation that it's going to do its thing and it's going to come up, but you don't know for sure. You don't know if it's going to come up. You don't know if it comes up, will it be the color that you thought it was going to be? Will it taste as good as, all these things are still open for interpretation. So when you have
Exactly.
an idea, allow it to grow.
Yeah.
Don't feel that you have to control it with all of your old ways of doing it, because maybe while it's nurturing itself, it goes, oh, well, we'll sprout this way, and this will give another, and this one this way. And
Yeah.
that,
You, you could also say that when you stay in what you think you already know and your past experiences and everything,
yes,
you are putting on your blinds, right? So you don't
exactly.
see beyond. You don't see beyond that. But the change that many people or most people want is to expand beyond that. So we need to have the courage to do that. And it
Yes,
is courageous, but it's always worth it. Always.
yes. And I mean, you need to have that ability to say, I don't like my picture taken, and I've never done videos before. But oh yeah, I'll come on every week and put my face on the camera.
Oh, I love you so much for that. And I had I had this feeling because we popped up in each other's social media, Facebook, and I know you were a guest on the show I had with Sue,
With Sue, yeah.
Sis-Stars Show, and the crazy lady that
Oh yeah.
that found you, and that there's always a blessing and a meaning with everything, and you just have the courage, just be yourself, and I think none of us would have been angry on the other one if you would have said no, or you would have wanted and I would have said no, but that wouldn't be happening anyway. But you know what I mean by that, because
Yeah.
there's just two genuine people meeting each other and trying to progress.
I
That's
mean,
beautiful.
I had no idea that this would turn into this, but the beauty is, and I say this with great love, I have never had so much fun and so much joy and so much inspiration. And you inspire me. I mean, every week you're throwing a topic at me and saying, "Do your thing, lady," and I'm going, "Yes, ma'am." And it's wonderful. It's beautiful, and it has put such a spark into my life, and all it took was yes, I'll
That's
do it.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And thank you. And you are my inspiration as well, right? Because we start talking about things and we progress somehow. And even we who have been in this field and doing this for such a long time, because there's no destination, we are still learning
Oh,
and we
absolutely.
see different perspectives. Um, it's absolutely marvelous. Fantastic. It's a miracle.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're expecting me to live to be 300 because we have so many topics, and then we'll have a conversation, and then another topic will come up. Oh, put that down. Sure, we'll add this. And the list just keeps going. Then you send me a new version of it. And I'm going, well, okay, now we're up to be 3,000, and let's see, 3,000 weeks is how many years? And
No problem,
no
beautiful
problem.
lady.
No problem.
No problem. Oh, and thank you so much. And I'm in awe. I thought I wanted to ask you from the very beginning, but I said, let's let her come on and see how she feels, right? To
Yeah.
leave the other person to feel it in. And then I said, I'm going to pop the question.
Oh, yes. Well, it has been a wonderful, beautiful, stimulating year, and I'm looking forward to many, many more. And
Yeah, we will have that for sure.
and as soon as the Arizona allergies decide to give me back uh, uh, my different speaking voice, right now it's kind of sultry, you know. But I am. This is the best I am today, and I embrace it, and that is all we can do as we live in our perfectly imperfect world.
Exactly. And you are perfect. Thank you so much. So is there anything else we want to add to this show today?
Always, but I think we can just put it into another topic.
Exactly. Always, always, always. And so I go to the announcements.
Yes, ma'am. Please.
Okay. Yes. So thank you, everybody. You have been watching Cosmic Sis-Stars Show with Anne and Corrine, discussing embracing freedom, the power of surrender and release, plus sharing a little bit of our personal stories and celebrating 1 year on air together. And that is, oh, that's a miracle. That's fantastic. You can find all past episodes at angelplaceonearth.com/upcoming past. Plus, you can find a few upcoming as well. We have planned. We may change sometimes because of different things, right? Like Mercury. Our next upcoming show on Cosmic Guardians and Cosmic Sisters is next Wednesday, April 2nd. So we slide through April 1st. That's nice. We can't make too many jokes, right?
Absolutely.
And we will talk about casual conversation and critical juncture. That's going to be interesting as well, right? And you can connect with us, find upcoming shows, past episodes, read articles, find Corrine, find me at angelplaceonearth.com/cosmic guardians. And I say thank you for watching us today, and love, light, peace, and joy to all of you. What do you say, Corrine?
And love, light, peace, and laughter.
Bye.
Bye bye.